Hello students, I'm here with the final video of the lesson that we were doing, The End of Living and the Beginning of Survival by Chief Seattle. So as we saw earlier, this was a speech given by Chief Seattle, and I told you Chief Seattle was the chief of his tribe, the Squamish tribe. And this speech was in response to the request made by the President of US, and it also marks the transferal of ancestral Indian lands to the federal government. Hope you went through the lesson at least once, if you have read through it, and if you have not understood any particular portion or a sentence or an area, you can message it in your class WhatsApp group. I will clarify it. Regarding the question answers of this lesson, I have already sent you the notes through your class group. You can note it down in your notebook. Please write it down in your notebook so that it is there for your reference or to prepare for your exams. So today in this final video, I'll just sum up the whole lesson in just few points. So this speech by Chief Seattle was originally in the Lushootseed language, which was translated by several people, and even today when you go through the sites, you can find that the authenticity of the speech is being debated. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We just have to see the main points of the speech that he has given. In the very beginning, he says, "It is a strange feeling for a native to sell his land, because the earth is divine and sacred to him. The earth that he lives on, the land that he lives on, is very sacred to him." Anyway, he has come to a reconciliation between the whites and the tribal people on several conditions. At the same time, Chief Seattle is trying to put forward his arguments on ecological responsibility and safeguarding the American native land. Set on all these conditions, he also tries to tell the white the importance given to the land by a native. As we saw in the earlier video, to a native, his land is everything. It is his mother, the flowers are his sister, the rivers his brother, and the ancestors who are buried underneath the earth that he lives on is so sacred to him. It may not be so with the whites. For the white settler, it's just a piece of land. He keeps moving from place to place. And another point is, for a red man, for a savage, for a native person, it pains to see the development of the whites. He's not able to understand how the whites live in a place which is not quiet, where they cannot hear the sound of the fluttering of the winds and the sounds of the insects and so on. Chief Seattle goes on to remind the whites that if nature and animals are killed, then one fine day man will also perish. The next point, he goes on to talk about the reference to God, and he says it's not different. God is the same, whether it is for the whites or the tribes. It's just one God. He also reminds the white to teach their children that earth is sacred, to respect nature, and to remember that always. Finally, he concludes with a hope and at the same time he tries to say that it would be the end of living if no importance is given to nature and if nature is not safeguarded. And it would only be a beginning of survival. It would be just a mere existence and not complete existence. He tries to make a difference between complete existence and mere existence. So that is the lesson, the end of living and the beginning of survival by Chief Seattle from your textbooks I Geist. So we have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you.